So this is actually the second video that we're filming. We already did one on onions and potatoes and garlic. So if you're looking for those items, look in the description and that will be linked there. When I go on speaking events, which I do often, and I'm talking either to groups of teachers or groups of moms most of the time, I kind of like to throw one of my team members under the bus almost every time. And it's about this mushroom story. So when she first started working with me, she called one night and she's like, Amy, you ruined dinner. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, walk me through. And she's like, well, I got the mushrooms and when I went to go get them, they were all bad. And I'm like, okay, walk me through, like, tell me what you did. Well, she had put them in a brown paper bag, like I suggest, either a brown paper bag or in a glass jar with a towel. And then she put them in the pantry. So she's walking me through what she did. I put them in the brown paper bag, and when I went to go to the pantry to get them, and I'm like, ding, ding, ding. That's exactly where we missed a step in communication there. So I do have mushrooms that are in a jar in the pantry, but these are dehydrated mushrooms. So I normally once a year will dehydrate mushrooms in my dehydrator. It will smell like swamp for a couple days when I am doing it. I try to only do it once a year, but then they stay shelf stable in the pantry for about a year, and then I will do it again. But she had put fresh mushrooms in the pantry and they will not last like that. So make sure when you're bringing home mushrooms, you do not wash them first. You can take a little paintbrush and knock off any dirt on them if you want to, and then either put them in a jar with a metal lid and a paper towel at the bottom and put them in your refrigerator, or put them in a brown paper bag in your refrigerator and they will stay fresh for about 3 weeks. Another item I don't wash before I store it, but it does get stored in the fridge, is cabbage. So cabbage is one of those items that I don't wash until I go to use it, and then I will just keep it just like this in the crisper drawer. If the outer layer starts to look a little old, then I just tear it off. It will actually stay fresh in the crisper drawer for months at a time, just like this. This one is one that I don't wash with the vinegar wash either. I wash this one with salt water. I use 1 tablespoon of salt to 10 cups of warmer water so it dissolves, and that way I can clean the cabbage. So make sure that you check out the graph at the back of the book, and it will show you all of the items. So the last couple pages of our new book has a complete chart of all of these produce items, and it tells you which ones to don't wash before storing and wash but a different way. So not everything is with the vinegar wash all of the time. Also, another thing that I store in a jar in the refrigerator and don't wash it first is Brussels sprouts. So I will store those normally in a 1/2 gallon size jar in the refrigerator, and I do put a paper towel at the bottom. That is one that will stay fresh for a month, but every week or so you need to open it up and release any gases that build up in the jar, because you don't want to get too much pressure on it. But it will not smell up your refrigerator, but when you do open the jar, it's going to smell like Brussels sprouts. All of these pumpkins, squashes, zucchini, they can all be washed. Well, zucchini we'll talk about separate, but these can all be washed and stored on your countertop as decoration in the fall time or in your pantry. And honestly, a lot of these squashes will last 6 months to a year if you wash them when you bring them home in the vinegar wash. That way you're killing off any mold spores on them and they won't start to rot as quickly. I normally lay them on a piece of cardboard or a piece of paper bag that doesn't have any printing on it. Every time I go into the pantry to get an onion, I kind of check out my squashes and zucchini and see if any of them are needing to get used up. So it's a good habit for me. Every time I go into the pantry to get an onion, I'm kind of checking the other produce items that are in there. There are like 2 major differences in zucchini. Sometimes you get it the cucumber size, and sometimes you get it the size of a leg. Those big garden zucchinis that you might get from your garden or your friend, those have been cured in the sun, and they will actually stay fresh for a couple months in your pantry if you wash them in the vinegar wash when you bring them home. The smaller ones that you get from the grocery store, they're about the size of a cucumber. Those should go in your crisper drawer with other vegetables. We also have a fridge chart in the book to help you decide if something's supposed to go into the crisper drawer or on the shelf in the refrigerator. In our new book, there's also a fridge chart to help you decide whether the item is supposed to go into a crisper drawer or onto the fridge shelf. So if you're new here and you're just finding me and you don't know what the vinegar wash is, make sure you go check out our strawberry video where I teach you all of the secrets on how to wash things in vinegar to kill off the mold spores, E. coli, Listeria, and other harmful pathogens.